The Cincinnati Reds had a very interesting and fun 2023 season. They went 82 and 80. They surprised a lot of people. A lot of young, fun talent on the team. Although it is a little unfortunate because we will not be seeing Joey Votto in a Reds uniform anymore. But regardless of that, kind of sad point, the Reds had a very good year and they have a lot of young talent entering 2024. And I think they'll be a very exciting team to watch. But let's not waste any more time. Let's dive straight into this. My name is Derek. I'm here with Mike. You're watching Bleacher Brawls, and this is the Cincinnati Reds team profile. So first things first, let's start with some of the key players for this Reds team. It's a very young team, but they still have a couple veterans on this team, but it is a very young team. So I'll hand it off to Mike first. Who are three key players for the Reds team, and who do you think will make a big impact for this team in 2024?
Yeah, super young team. I think three key impact players is Ellie De La Cruz. I like to see him make that second year jump. I think the biggest one out of all of them is Matt McLean. I think he's gonna, really be one of the top MLB players this year. And then I'm gonna go with Jonathan India because I think that he is going to be a key piece for them, maybe even in a trade. Really young, young great not prospect, but great young player. He's proven a lot in the MLB. He can hit, he can play defense. I was honestly a year ago, I was hoping the Yankees swooped in and grabbed him because they weren't really sure what they were going to do with their roster. So would love to see him in pinstripes, but I just because I'm from the area, I watch him a lot. I know that what the dude really just likes to play baseball. So I love his niche, and yeah, I think those are the three guys.
Yeah, I think that's a very good. Obviously, Ellie De La Cruz is massive, so I do like him a lot. Spencer Steer is one who I think is very interesting because he had a very good year last year, but now it seems like he's going to be playing left field every day with the boatload of infielders they have. Last year he played first, second, third, and left. Looks like he's going to slot in left this year because of, like I said, the amount of infielders. But I'm going to roll with, I think, one of the really key players this year, and someone who I really like. I liked back when he was in the Mariners system, and this was a big part of a big trade haul for them. I'm going to go with Noel V. Marte. Obviously part of the Luis Castillo trade. At the time, a lot of people thought the Reds got a haul for Castillo value-wise, although yes, you are trading Luis Castillo. But Marte has been solid. He played 35 games in the big leagues and tore it up. 316 he had a 316 average with 3 homers, a 120 weighted runs created plus. The walk rate was a little low, 6.5%. The BABIP was very high, 384. So maybe a little bit of good luck, but at the same time, it is a small sample size too. So maybe you won't expect them to hit 316 next year, but he's still someone who is very solid. I like them a lot in the minor leagues. He's someone I really do like a lot. He can play shortstop, he can play third base. When Ellie De La Cruz needs a day off, he can slide over to short. And Matt McLean can play shortstop too. It's a very versatile young Reds team, really fun. And Noel Marte is just another one of those young guys who can you stick him in that lineup. It's just honestly, I think this Reds team is going to be really fun, and they are really young, a lot of room to grow. And I think Noel Marte will be a big part of this young Reds core. Moving on to offseason moves, and to kind of supplement this young core, they did make some moves. They signed Frankie Montas to a 1-year deal. Jamer Candelario, 3-year, $45 million deal. That was a big one for them. Their biggest signing monetarily, money-wise, their biggest signing. Nick Martinez, 2 years, $26 million. Emilio Pagan came in. So out of those moves, Mike, what move do you think is kind of the biggest, most important move for this Reds team heading into 2024?
So I'm gonna go a different route. Talk about someone you mentioned a few minutes ago. I think the biggest move was to not bring back Joey Votto. I'm not saying the dude still couldn't hit the baseball. It was just time. I think he served his purpose, especially these last few years. He was that veteran guy that everyone seemed to love. I can tell you right now, Cincinnati loved him. He's probably, I mean, besides Joe Burrow, he was like, the name you think of next as far as Cincinnati pro athletes. He's the guy you see walking downtown. He's got, fans are wearing the jersey the most. So, but I think it was just time. Like I said, you got this core of young guys rushing in, and they got a little experience under their belt. And I think they got the right manager for these young guys. I think it's time for them to kind of take the reins of the team. You are the Cincinnati Reds now. It's not Joey Votto's team. It's this core's team. So I think it's time for all of them to make a step up and really go from there.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like a boatload of infielders, too. Like, Spencer Steer has to move to the outfield. Like, you have Christian Encarnacion-Strand, who's a first baseman. Jamer Candelario is going to play at first base next year. He also can play a little bit third. You have Noelvi Marte, Matt McClain, Ellie De La Cruz, Jonathan India. There's just... Joey Votto, unfortunately, just wouldn't have a spot on this team, which is unfortunate. So I think I agree. There's kind of time. For the Reds team, I think the biggest development of the offseason for them, honestly, like, has nothing to do with their signings. I honestly think the biggest development was the draft lottery and them walking away with the second pick, because this is a really young Reds team, and you have the potential to add a top prospect to a farm system that has been developing a lot of good talent, whether it's homegrown or acquired and then developed through a trade. Like, they trade for him, like a Noelvi Marte, and then continue developing it. Like, you're adding, like, I think that is the biggest development, because they would have had the 14th pick had there been no draft lottery. Now they get the second pick. Like, that is a massive development, and I think, you know, you look at a team with the Reds and their farm system, and you start looking at it, and you go, and then you're looking, oh, you're going to add the guy, whoever they take with the second pick. Like, that's so massive, because you have guys like Rhett Lauder, who they took last year, right? You have, like, Chase Petty and Edwin Arroyo's there, but, like, all the big guys, for the most part, have now reached the big leagues. Your Matt McClains, your Ellie De La Cruz, Noelvi Marte, like, all those guys are now reaching the big league, have reached the big leagues, exceeded prospect status. Now you can add a top prospect right and replenish your system with that draft lottery. So I think winning the second pick in the draft lottery, I think it's a massive development for the Cincinnati Reds. Draft player, could be a bust, but, like, you'd much rather have the second pick than the 14th pick. I don't care. It doesn't matter how good or bad you are at developing players. You'll take the second pick 10 times out of 10 over the 14th pick. Plus a little bit more bonus pool money to play with, too. So that's also how they divvy that up. Could also be interesting. But I think that's a very big development for them. Moving on to expectations for 2024. It is a young team, but they won 82 games last year, over 500. And in one of probably the weakest division in the National League as well. So I'll hand it back over to you, Mike. What are the expectations for the Reds heading into 2024?
I think it's got to be a playoff berth, and honestly, if you want to get crazy with it, I think because of, like you said, how weak I think the division has been, I think it could be win the Central. They were fighting for contention late last year, so this young team's got the experience. I think a year under their belt, an offseason to kind of mix in well together. I think like I said, they can definitely win the Central, make a little playoff run, get the city excited, and then as soon as these guys really get their third and fourth year under them, I think that's when you can start talking like pennant.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think the interesting thing for me is that starting rotation with, like, the Frankie Montas, his health is going to be a big part, but we know how good he can be. We saw it with Oakland, right? And another guy, Nick Martinez, will likely start, in my opinion, on this team. He only started 9 games last year, but with the Padres, but he can start. He started a little bit before, so it'll be interesting to see how they do with that. And then you have your kind of young mix. You have the Hunter Greens of the world and whatnot, and you have Nick Lodolo, and you have Graham Ashcraft, right? So it's a very interesting rotation. If those guys stay healthy and pitch well, like, this Reds team definitely can win the division. I think the expectation for 2024 is to push for a playoff spot, hopefully nab a playoff spot, and then see the continued growth of their young talent, like the Ellie De La Cruzes, the Matt McClains, the Noelvi Martes, the Matt McClain, the Spencer Steers, and Christian Encarnacion-Strands, all those guys, right? See the improvement of them, and Hunter Green too, and the pitching side of things too. The improvement of those guys will be massive, because those are the guys who are going to push this team to the next step and push them into playoff contention. So I think overall, that's the big expectation for the Reds in 2024. But I think that's a good place to wrap it up. We kind of covered everything. So make sure to check out all our other team profiles here on the Bleacher Brawls YouTube channel. Doing all 30 is part of our 40 videos in 40 days. So make sure to check out all our videos. We're going hard. Putting out a lot of content before the start of the season. But we're excited about it, and we're happy to be doing this. So we're going to keep it going. Make sure to check out all our other team profiles. Reds fans, let us know your thoughts in the comments. For Mike, my name is Derek. Thanks for tuning in to Bleacher Brawls and the Cincinnati Reds team profile, and we'll see you next time.